James, as your co-host, I do have to point out, I don't know, a bit of a discrepancy with what we're planning on doing tonight.
What exactly are we planning on doing tonight, though?
Well, we are going to be doing a trailer in the rear view for Avengers Infinity War.
I love trailer in the rear views, and I'm excited to talk about it.
However, we're only supposed to do those if both of us give it a need-to-see rating.
I believe we have.
I only gave it a need-to-see more.
Oh, really?
Joe gave it a need-to-see.
Oh,
so,
friend of the show, Joe Chitel.
Yeah, so I mean, like, how... Are you sure that we should be doing this? Because, like, this actually goes against our grading process.
Should we call him? Hey. Oh,
Whoa,
hi,
Jesus!
Joe. How are you?
How long have you been there?
The whole time.
Oh, my God.
Really?
I can't believe I didn't see you.
Or hear you, or acknowledge you.
I'm really good at being still.
Well, Joe is here to help us talk about Avengers Infinity War.
I guess that smooths that over. But, Joe, just so you know, we are actually doing a second review tonight, too.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you know about this.
I'm gonna pitch a movie at you. And just see if you happen to see it.
Okay.
The Book of Henry.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Wait,
when did you
have?
watch it?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm happy to have you on then.
I also
What?
have seen it.
Oh
Jesus!
my gosh, Jenny's here too. This is a
Yes.
crazy. It's so crazy.
Well, I mean, you guys are in my apartment. What do you expect?
Hi, Jenny. Jenny, my roommate. Everyone.
I'm the roommate. The roommate.
And Jenny is our bad movie correspondent.
Yes.
And Kevin and I give a double never need to see to the Book of Henry because we didn't want to see it. And
Yeah, I guess that's the most diplomatic way to put that.
Yeah, I think so. And Jenny is glad enough to watch bad movies with us and then make fun of them.
Yep.
Isn't that right?
100%.
And then, full disclosure, we forced Joe to watch it too.
I was up very late last night watching Book of Henry.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Turn the lights and grab a seat. Pour yourselves a whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these future releases by the movie trailers. We're trailer hits. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
Alright, so full disclosure, I'm gonna come right out and say it. We've known that Joe and Jenny have been in the studio this entire time.
Yeah.
And we were pointing at each of them for their cues. And, like, I don't know about you, but, like, I was definitely looking like I was air drumming to Rush for a little bit.
I thought it looked pretty good. And full disclosure, we're going to be saying full disclosure a lot this episode. And also, studio means my kitchen.
Yeah, we're in your kitchen right now.
Just a heads up.
Anyway, hi, welcome to Trailer
Hi,
Hitch.
welcome to Trailer Hitch,
I'm
everyone.
Kevin.
I'm James.
I'm Jenny.
I'm Joe.
Oh, Joe
You sure
almost
are.
missed his intro there.
I'm gonna have to keep pointing to you,
pointed
aren't I?
right- You pointed well.
But we're all here to talk movies, and one that we were all excited to see, and one that none of us were excited to see.
That's correct.
yeah.
So James and I review movie trailers on this podcast.
That's a good thing to say.
We rate everything on a scale of need to see more, or never need to see. If James and I both give a movie a need to see rating, we see that movie, we report back to you in one of these segments, trailer on the rear view.
And sometimes Kevin needs to watch a movie even if he didn't give it a need to see.
That's true,
Like
yeah.
Avengers.
I was at a need to see more for it, but there was no way you would let me live without going and seeing Avengers with you.
this was happening, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes if James and I goof especially bad, especially for a Hitchhiker segment, we will watch a movie that we both gave a double never need to see it to. That is the Book of Henry. You're getting both of these in one episode. We're going to see how it goes.
Yay!
We're going to start bad and try and end the night on a good note. So we're going to dive into the Book of Henry first. And just for the record, this is going to be a really spoiler-heavy podcast.
Yeah.
If you have not seen the Book of Henry, first of all, good. Second of all, if you want to avoid spoilers, you'll want to skip ahead further into our Avengers episode. If you haven't seen Avengers yet, first of all, high five, you're rare. Second of all, if you don't want anything spoiled for Avengers, obviously come back to us once you've seen the full movie.
Sure, yeah, totally. And also, don't be too proud of yourself for not seeing a movie. That's not that hard to do. Just saying, Kevin. Don't give those people that satisfaction. I don't like it. You should see Avengers is all I'm saying. We'll get to it, though. We'll get to it, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
we will.
okay,
We will. But first, we have to talk about the Book of Henry.
Yeah.
Our legacy isn't how many commas we have in our bank account. It's who we're lucky enough to have in our lives and what we can leave them with.
Henry, remind me again why we can't put you in a gifted school.
Because it's better for my psychosocial development for me to interact with a peer group in a normal school environment.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Susan? I guess I could just set you up with direct deposit if that's easier.
I don't know. I'll have to ask Henry.
You have to ask your 11-year-old?
Did our financial statement come in the mail today?
Yeah, I forgot to give it to you.
I don't know how you do it, all by yourself.
Come on, I have Henry. Find me another male of the species who's more grown up than him.
I'd like to.
I agree. Well, for me, it's a never need to see.
You know, I really wanted this to be a need to see it. I really wanted it to even be a need to see more, but it's a never need to see it for me as well. Based on this trailer alone.
All right, so this is the Book of Henry. Let's all crack this open. This is directed by Colin Trevorrow, written by Greg Hurwitz, starring Naomi Watts, Jaden, oh good God, Laborer?
Sure.
Jacob Tremblay, Sarah Silverman, Dean Norris. Our random shout out is going to go to Deborah Rain, who plays the EMT. Hey, Deborah, we saw you. You did great.
I feel like we already did this, didn't we? Do we have to give a random shout out again?
I'd like to.
All right, fine. Deborah, good job.
It'd be really fucked up to listen back and hear, oh, I actually shouted her out in the first episode.
We don't want to give her 2 shout-outs.
Yeah, we don't want Deborah to get too big for her britches.
No. Okay, so this is the Book of Henry, and we're going to talk... First, we're just going to discuss if we thought the trailer sold the movie we got properly, based off of that. Then we'll move into the spoilers and stuff and talking about the actual movie. So just real quick. Joe, let's start with you. Do you think that the trailer sold the movie properly at all?
Like, as in, like, would get butts into seats? Or
well, it's twofold, really.
Accurately describe the film.
So it's twofold. So answer that first question, yeah, and then B, the second question. Was it represented properly?
Yeah, we're giving you a multi-part question.
So no, in terms of tone, the trailer is all over the place. Like, you don't know what it
That's
is.
Kind
it feels
of a
like
movie, though.
Well, we're not there yet.
Yeah, Kevin, we're not there yet.
It feels like well, we're not there yet. It feels like it's kind of like like not a rom-com, but like one of those coming-of-age stories at the beginning of it, and then the trailer switches drastically to like a thriller.
Yeah.
Where it's I mean, whatever, that's what it does. The other thing I was going to say, in terms of getting you into the theater, no. Because why?
So no for both.
No for both.
Sure.
But yeah.
That's what Kevin and I thought initially.
Yeah. I would say so. Jenny, given that you're a bad movie correspondent, your thoughts and views on this trailer?
When I first saw the trailer, I definitely didn't want to see it. Like, I agree with Joe. It seemed like a coming-of-age movie, and then it took a huge left turn into thriller territory, but it didn't interest me enough to be like, to get in the theater to see it at all. Like, the two tones of the trailer just didn't mesh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, like, the tone doesn't work in the trailer, and really... I'm not, like, getting into spoilery stuff. I'm just saying that in terms of selling what the movie is, this trailer does more or less sell you what the movie is.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh, like in a bad way.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Oh, yeah, no, like, this isn't, like, a positive, but I feel like the trailer is giving you the best representation of what you're walking into when you, poor unfortunate soul, make the decision to watch the Book of Henry.
Yeah.
So, in that regard, I would say that the trailer is good in the sense of it does what it has to do. It's like, we're setting up this movie for you. I'm sure Colin Trevorrow was, like, sipping his drink as this trailer dropped and was like, yes, everyone will understand my genius now.
Everyone will be on my level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'd agree with you. I think the tone that is in this trailer is also the tone in the movie. So in that respect, the trailer was true to the movie's tone.
Mm.
There are certain things that aren't true to the movie, though, which we'll talk about more in spoilers. So I'm going to knock it for those things. And as Joe said, and Jenny said, and Kevin said, this doesn't make you want to watch the movie, though.
No.
Plain and simple.
No, I don't really think the first 95 minutes of the movie make you want to watch the movie either, though.
Yeah,
It really is... I don't know. Like, to me, this is like an advertisement for a beat-up car or trailer.
Sure.
Like, you know, you're on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and you see, like, a beat-to-shit Honda Civic for $200, and you're taking a look at that thing, and you know, after, like, 3,000 miles, that transmission's giving out.
Absolutely.
There's really no circumstance in which you buy that $200 Honda Civic, but... there's also not a lot of reason why you would go and see the Book of Henry.
But we all did.
We all did.
Yeah.
Yeah, as punishment.
Yeah. So, thanks, Joe and Jenny, for being here with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Really, thanks, Joe, for being here with the three people that watch bad movies.
Yeah, you didn't have to.
Including Jenny, our movie correspondent.
I was
Yeah.
up very late last night.
Anyway,
Should we get into it?
let's dive into the movie and dive into spoilers
Yeah,
and just spoil the hell out of it.
All right,
what did
so
we think of the movie?
just to keep in context with the trailer conversation first major spoiler: Henry dies in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah,
that was a shocker.
And the trailer does a good job of hiding that. I was genuinely surprised when Henry died.
Yeah.
Or, like, when he got the terminal diagnosis, you know. Like, once he had the brain tumor, it's like,
Right.
oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, when we rewatched the trailer, Joe definitely said that right away, right?
Well, it does the way it's cut. Yeah, it like they literally intercut him talking into a tape recorder while she's like on the other side.
It,
yeah,
right?
so it can seem like it is all happening at the exact same time.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't suspect it.
Which didn't make sense. Why, like he was leading her to do this mission of some kind. Like,
in the trailer, it didn't make sense.
That's what confused me. It's like this kid is telling his mom what to do. Obviously, when you watch the trailer, you see that she relies heavily on him in general.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the implication you get from that is that Henry is an asshole who makes everyone do everything for him, and that is what the movie gives you, too.
Yeah, but you don't get that in the trailer.
No, you don't. You get the one smug thing he says at the beginning of the trailer, and then just him dictating what stuff to do to his mom. That's pretty much it, of him talking in the trailer, I'd say.
Yeah, they do actually manage to curtail his dickishness in the trailer, which is a pretty impressive feat. Because for most of the movie, Henry's a douche.
Yeah. But yeah, so the trailer hides the fact that he dies pretty early on, and it's not like a death through the trauma that's actually happening with the neighbors or the child abuse. It's just terminal illness. So that felt like it belonged in a different movie as well.
There are a lot of things in this movie that I think that we were talking about this after we got done with it, where there seems to be 4 or 5 different movie ideas that's all crammed into the Book of Henry, and it never really comes together. But I guess first we should get into what the Book of Henry is. And so this starts with Henry, who's this ultra smart kid who basically takes care of his mom, does all the finances, has managed to rig the stock market in their favor. How? We don't know, because the stock market is effectively gambling. But this 11-year-old figured it out.
Right.
So,
but I mean, in the beginning of the movie, it was just like, Mom, you don't have to work anymore. And then that's it.
Then he gets on a phone call.
Yeah.
He has a phone call. I'm going to go on the record real quick. I didn't hate the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, no. On the
I thought
record.
It was awful.
Okay.
It wasn't. It was not awful. But what I will say is it was not good.
I fell asleep.
All right.
It was not good.
Well,
I'm happy to at least get that concession out of you.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get further into it as we go.
Yeah, we're sort of on the right side of the tracks here.
So, yeah, eventually Henry decides that the girl across the street is being abused. There was, like, reference to bruises. Did you see bruises on the girl at any point, Joe?
No, she's got, they go into more of the tired aspect. Like, she's got, like, bags under her eyes.
That's it, though, right?
Yeah. No, they don't have any...
There is no conclusive proof for the viewer in this movie that this girl was actually being abused.
Correct.
At all.
Correct. You just see facial reactions from Henry and his mom as they see something through the window. As an audience member, you don't see anything, but you're left to believe that she's either being physically or sexually abused in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's the way the trailer implies it. But I just feel like the movie has to do better at proving to the audience that Henry was right. That's what Naomi Watts saw, too. And this is why she's following her 11-year-old's instructions to murder her neighbor.
Well, hang on. Let's get there first. So Henry decides, the police commissioner who lives next door is beating his daughter. We have to do something about this. And Naomi Watts is like, but it's not really our problem, though. Fast forward to Henry having a pill addiction by the looks of it. You end up finding out he's suffering from headaches. He takes a tumble, comes to in a hospital. Turns out he's got terminal brain cancer.
Right.
And you're thinking, wow, I guess, like, he's going to just be dictating what to do for Naomi Watts from this hospital bed. And then the son of a bitch dies, like, 30 minutes into the movie. And Naomi Watts and his younger brother have to, like, come to terms with that. Seems to happen fairly quickly. But while Henry was in the hospital and prior to him taking his tumble, he was filling out this book, which was effectively a, 200-page manifesto on how to kill the police commissioner and get away with it.
Yes. And why this is the only way to do this, to make things right.
Right.
Which is wrong.
Correct.
Cool.
But anyway,
but he does go through.
Yeah, so he records it on a tape recorder, all these instructions to his mom, and every time she does something, Henry is dictating as if he knows her so well. Like, she'll make a left turn when he says right, and he'll say, oh, your other right, and she like, oh, of course, she did turn the wrong way.
And that was probably Joe and Jenny's favorite parts of the movie, right? Was the tape recorder telling her, nope, go the other way.
It was very weird.
They do have a moment later in the woods where she goes off script and he is wrong.
Continues to go on.
It comes
script.
Too late. Because it happens so often successfully that I'm just like, this is dumb. Yeah. It happens one time too many, and I go, this is dumb. And then she goes off script, and Henry doesn't.
Well, and especially because the bit where she goes off script isn't really played for comedy. He says, good grouping, Mom. And that should be, I think, played for yucks. But instead, Naomi Watts looks off sad, as if remembering that her child is no longer there. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I think that, honestly, there are a lot of issues that I have with this movie. I do think that the direction is a big part of it. I think it looks really flat. And you actually pointed out, James, that there's a particular scene where they go and visit Sarah Silverman's character, who, by the way, kisses an 11-year-old on the lips in the movie, and it's not really delved into. But they go to her house, and that's, like, the only time they go handheld with anything.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, otherwise everything else is just kind of, like, static shots, sort of flat. And there are moments, we're not killing the police commissioner, and that's final line that said, I think is supposed to be played for comedy, but again, with how Naomi Watts plays it, and with the direction, there's nothing really to indicate you are actually supposed to laugh at this.
Right, exactly. Joe and Jenny, what do you guys think?
Just about the movie in general?
Yeah, we're just getting into
do you have any thoughts?
Well, one part that really bothered me, and I think maybe it's up to the audience to interpret it, but there were moments with Naomi Watts and her 11-year-old brainiac where she almost looked at him in a more intimate way versus like a mother-son way. I don't know if anyone else got that, but there was a time
there were a lot of people that wanted to fuck this 11-year-old.
Yes, including his mother.
Yeah, like there was a time she was laying in bed with him, like in the hospital bed, but she was like looking at him and like caressing his face a little bit too intimately, almost like a spouse, which makes sense because he takes care of her like a spouse would take care of their significant other. She can't do anything. He does all the finances, all the money making and stocks, like everything. Yeah. So it makes sense why maybe subconsciously she looks at him a little bit more intimately. And then there's a time where he's laying in bed, like going through paperwork, and she's watching TV. It's like, kid, go to your own room. Like, why are you with your mom in her bed? It's very weird. He's treated much like a grown up, but she also looks at him too much like a grown up. It's very odd.
It definitely feels underdeveloped. Yeah. Like, it feels like there are implications for there being more there. A lot of them gross, and I'm sort of happy it doesn't go there. But those threads are all loose throughout the story, I think.
Correct, yeah.
Joe, how do you feel about that?
It's kind of like a feature-length short film in terms of its pacing, because it does pick you. You get thrown right into it, because a lot of the criticisms about, like, Henry with the stock market and everything, and things like that, that's, like, established off-camera. Mm-hmm. And so we're just supposed to accept one line of dialogue and be able to run with it. And I think I was a little more forgiving on this film about that. Like, I didn't have as big of an issue with the fact that they weren't feeding us everything that we needed. And so as I was going through the first, 30, 40 minutes of it, I wasn't like, I'm totally out of this, or like even making fun of it as we go. Besides the line, which is in the trailer, of like, Henry's the most manly, or the
most grown up person. Right.
Yeah, whatever it is. She's like says "man" in it though,
and
that's what makes
find me another man.
Find me another man that does it. Yeah, and then I'm like, that's a weird thing to say about your child.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Besides that, I didn't actually have an issue with how she treated either of her kids, and we're really not talking about what we should be talking about, which is not the Henry performance, but the performance of the kid.
Peter?
Which, yes, if I can give a one direction, I hate Colin Trevorrow. He destroyed the Jurassic Park franchise. He's a no-talent hack. He did, like Silver Spoon. He's not good. Also, Safety Not Guaranteed is not a great film. I think that's the big thing that we go back to, but whatever, different.
He's already been fired. We don't have to make the case.
So, okay. But the thing is, his direction of that kid, and maybe it's just that kid is such a good actor.
Which he is.
He is.
Was excellent. Yes. Was like above average good. That kid still...
I really wish I had more of the little brother, though.
Well, but it does... Well, yeah, I guess you're right. He kind of falls off a cliff at the end, but...
Not literally, figuratively.
Yeah, when the other kid randomly gets terminal brain cancer and dies, we should specify...
Yeah.
I thought that performance was really good. And I don't know where you guys stand on this, but I felt like Henry's death was handled so well.
Yeah, I liked it. It was impactful. It was meaningful.
The him crawling out of the bed in a panic. This is how it goes down. He crawls, like Kevin glossed over it, but realistically that scene is like a quick 5-minute scene of him waking up out of nowhere in complete panic.
Yeah.
And he crawls onto the edge of the bed with what little strength he has and is trying to go to the window and can't open up the window of the blinds.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to see the sky. And it's like, he's dying. Like, this is it. And she knows, eventually Naomi Watts is holding him in her arms. And and she knows, and everyone knows this is it. And I was like, damn. And then I started to get mad at you guys because I'm like, it's fucking like 12:30. And I'm like, almost gonna get teary-eyed here. But no, I thought a lot of the movie, besides the tonal issues, which I think goes back to what you guys said, it feels like a lot of different movies in one movie. Yeah. And I kind of wonder if studio notes played a big deal into it, because it seems like for a while you're not necessarily supposed to trust Henry. Like, there was supposed to be a point maybe in this movie where like Naomi Watts had more reservation into going along with the plan.
Okay.
Sure, I just wish that it committed to one or the other, though. I feel like this movie does go a bit too in the middle.
It feels like a studio note thing.
I do agree, though. At times, I think I even said it to you, Kevin, I feel like there was a deleted scene because we jumped from one thing to the other, and I'm like, I think there might have been some deleted scenes in here or something that's missing because it didn't flow great, and I can't for the life of me remember that specific moment that I'm talking about.
Sure.
But
it was basically Henry going to the principal talking about the abuse that his friend was facing, his neighbor was facing from her stepfather. And the principal is just like, we've been over this before, there's no conclusive evidence. And I think that was the scene that you're talking about, where it felt like we missed a scene of him saying this to her before, or coming to her before, right?
Right. And we're
was that the one?
Yeah, no, you're right. And we're supposed to gather that he's gone to her before, and then, like, she's just like, no, we've been over this. But it didn't play like this was that happened off screen. It just felt like he walked in and she's just like, nope. And I'm like, what kind of educator are you? Like, you should follow up on this.
Yeah.
So, and then going, later on in the film with that principal, all of a sudden she's just standing there off stage looking at this little girl who Henry said was being abused, and she starts getting teary-eyed, and then all of a sudden storms off stage and calls the police because now she knows that he was right. And it just does not make sense.
I was so mad at that moment.
It didn't make sense. I don't know why all of a sudden she felt the need to be like, yeah, Henry's right. She is being abused just because of how she's dancing on stage. I just feel it.
She looks at her finger at one point, the little girl does, and that's apparently supposed to be the trigger.
The finger with no bruise. No bruise.
The principal has very few lines, but one of them is, we can't do anything without conclusive evidence. And then for no reason, at the end of the movie, she decides to do everything without conclusive evidence and is the reason that all of this goes down.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, the principal saved the day, essentially.
Yeah.
And we didn't see, like, her arc of why she changed her mind. She just watched a ballet performance and then changed her mind.
Exactly.
And then, sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to kind of go off of you, Joe, with the death scene was well done. I think just, like, taken as its own thing, I think it works. Why I don't think it necessarily works in the movie is I really didn't like Henry as a character.
I hated Henry.
I
hated him.
So, in the trailer that we obviously just played a little bit of audio of, you hear him making the speech about a legacy in a classroom. So the film opens up with another kid getting up and talking about his legacy, and he talks about how he wants to be a gold medal Olympian in dodgeball.
Adorable.
Super adorable. He's 11.
Shoot for the sky, man. That's what I say.
And then Henry comes up and spends the first half of his speech basically saying why that kid is an idiot and he should give up on his dream.
Yeah.
Before getting into all the other stuff you hear in the trailer.
Your legacy is stupid. This is what your legacy should be.
Right.
That is what his speech is.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the first moment where I went, okay, he might be smart and articulate, but he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
The movie really does make it a point to shove down your throat. Look at how smart he is. Look at how well put together he is. Look at who he's taken care of. Look at how good of a brother he is. And ultimately, I felt like his only flaw as a character was he was a dick, but no one ever called him out for being a dick, much less the movie. And so it just made me feel like the movie was idolizing him, whereas I didn't think he necessarily earned that idolization.
Well, and like my take on it is I was a little bit more forgiving of his dickish nature because he is super smart. And if you think about it, a lot of adults talk to him like he is an adult. So but he's still a kid and he's still around his peer group, and he hasn't developed that social interaction and that common sense yet. So that most kids usually get by being a normal kid, but because people don't treat him like a normal kid, I feel like it's a little bit more forgiving.
He skipped some development.
He skipped some development moments, yes.
Which, that's a solid point. If that was something that they fleshed out or maybe called attention to,
Sure.
I think that could be really cool. That said, when he has his last scene with Sarah Silverman, and she's about to apologize because they have a relationship where they treat each other shitty, even though they clearly care a lot about each other. And she's about to apologize for that, and he stops her and breaks down the term and what that definition means. So clearly he has the social acumen to understand, oh, she and I take the piss out of each other, but we clearly really like each other. So there is some social acumen there.
Sure.
And again, that is like that middle ground that the movie finds when really it just needs to pick something.
Yeah. My biggest gripe with the movie, and this is like the last thing I'll really say about it, is he's supposed to be a genius, but he is also the biggest idiot 11-year-old I've ever seen in a movie. Joe, ask me why.
Why?
Ask me why.
Why?
Why is he the biggest idiot ever?
Yeah.
Because he's had these painstaking headaches for months and didn't go to the doctor. He's supposed to be a genius. And he never goes to the doctor.
Okay, I'm gonna come to the defense. I'm gonna come to the defense.
I do have one other thing though too. You know what else you can do instead of murdering the police commissioner? Set up a camera to the window that you have literally seen the abuse happen time and time again, and then you have permanent proof. You have conclusive evidence that everyone is going on and on about. Why didn't he think of that? Because he's an idiot. All right, Joe, go.
Yeah, that's pretty
ironclad.
He should have gotten evidence. Is the only thing that goes.
Okay, so the headache thing.
All right, headache thing, right? You're a kid. You don't think for a long time. You think you're immortal. Like you don't think about death when you're a kid, right? You jump off jump off like a fucking like dirt hill that's like 20 feet tall, land on your back, and you don't like once question your head nailing a rock as you go down.
But if it's like internal though, I think the first thing kids learn is to bitch to how bad they feel.
And they address it in the movie. He literally says, "I had a headache." He thought it was like, and then he goes for the next thing, which is, "I thought it was stress," which is a very adult way to react to something when you have a million other things to worry about. Finances for his entire fucking family.
Yeah.
However, he bankrolled $650,000, which is an issue. But like, I'm just saying, it's not too far fetched to think.
Sure.
I don't have as big a gripe with Henry. Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang Theory sucks. He's the most annoying person in the world. But it's almost the same sort of social interaction where he's an asshole, but he understands how he's supposed to behave. Right. He just knows he's smarter than everybody else, so why should he sink to their level?
But we have other characters in that show that we can relate to and also make fun of Sheldon for. Sure. In this, we're supposed to be on Henry's side, which I can't be.
Where is the dad?
It was a tiny bit of exposition that Naomi Watts says to Sarah Silverman as Sarah Silverman is like wasted hungover in the yard.
Yeah.
And Naomi Watts goes to her and she's like, "Oh no, you're drunk again. Did your husband leave you with your 2 kids?" And Sarah Silverman goes, "That was you." And Naomi Watts just smiles and that's it. Mm-hmm. That's all we get for it.
Yeah, that's rough.
So that was dumb too. Were you going to say something about Henry's headaches?
No, that's okay.
Joe covered it, basically?
Joe covered it, yeah. He basically said the same thing I
All right, I'll allow it then.
All right, so I just want to kind of move on because we haven't talked to what is effectively the biggest part of this movie, which is there's a full murder plot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Henry sets this trail for Naomi Watts for her to, like, this is where you go to buy the gun. This is what you say when you buy the gun. This is how much money you're going to need. You should withdraw from multiple ATMs so it doesn't look weird. Mm-hmm. So on and so forth. And we watch as she goes step by step through all this process. And then at the end, she ends up deciding not to go through with it. She's hiding out in the treehouse with a silent sniper rifle. That's real. And
that's in this movie.
Yep, she's about to blow Dean Norris's head off when she trips and hits a Rube Goldberg contraption that her kid set up, and that contraption like goes all the way, and then the final piece of it is these photographs fall down, and it's Henry as a baby, as a small child.
Through the years.
Yeah, through the years.
Reminding her.
And then she decides not to go through with it, and she instead decides to go and confront Dean Norris and be like, "I'm going to get you in trouble," and he's going to be like, "Ugh." And then separate to that, the principal calls in the case.
Yep.
And Dean Norris finds that out, and he shoots himself. And then Naomi Watts adopts the abused girl
because of a forged signature.
Yes, she did. That's the weirdest part of this movie.
That is not the weirdest part of this movie.
I think it is. I don't know any scenario.
First of all, she's a terrible mother.
Oh,
she's a terrible mother. So she doesn't deserve to be raising this child.
She's not great. She's not great.
She's nice when she tucks him in, but that's it.
Sure.
She's nice.
She's absolutely nice.
She has clear love for her kids, and I don't think she had to grow up because her son is doing it for them. You know what I mean?
She would have had to before he was born.
No, because she had her husband.
No, I've seen train wrecks, and I can tell you why. I have a mirror, sir.
we can assume that the husband probably had left when the two kids were born. So she had her husband. She probably was an adult, but when Henry became genius and then he left, she probably was just like, oh, I don't need to do anything, you know?
Yeah.
You could probably just assume maybe at one point, maybe she was always a terrible mom, but she always had her husband. She always had her husband kind of covering because that line of dialogue with her being drunk and her husband leaving her, maybe that's all she does was drink.
Yeah, but then the dad wouldn't leave the kids with her.
I mean, he could be a terrible father,
could be
too.
A terrible
It
dad.
could just be a combination of terrible people making a terrible person of a son.
Yeah.
But again, I really liked the little brother because the little brother is the one who says to Naomi Watts' character, don't do what Henry would do what you would do. And he's the one who's like, oh, I'm going to do a magic show. And there's clearly, like, a good, smart kid there. And I'd like to follow that kid.
Except,
yes,
this is my biggest gripe with the film.
Okay.
So the magic trick, right? The very end of the movie is the stupidest thing in the world. Because
it's so bad,
the kid, it goes above and beyond stupid. So the kid decides to do a magic show, and essentially his thing is, I'm going to make my brother reappear. Because Henry's long dead, everything's done like that. And the audience is all like, oh,
the doctor is in the audience who was there when he died.
We're going to have to gloss over it, because that's like, that relationship is ridiculous.
The doctor is like calling his chief of medicine and being like,
are we sure he's dead?
So
listen, Dr. Frankenstein, you know how you were looking to reanimate the dead? Well, get a load of this. And then this fart of a magic trick happens, and he's like, I'll call you back. Like,
The audience reaction is how it would be, where it's like a bunch of people that know that he lost his brother, so like everyone's kind of like, oh no.
You just cheer for what? Everyone's
like, it's it's hands over mouth moments, right? Because it's like a sad thing. You're like, oh no, this kid, like, he doesn't. So he's not literally expecting. Like, even then, I wasn't expecting Henry to pop out of the box. Although this movie is so crazy.
I had no idea. I
wanted him badly to pop out of the box.
Anyway, Joe, continue.
So here is the issue. What ends up coming out of the box is he performs the magic trick, and snow, like this foamy snow, pops out of the box. And it's a nice moment because it's a callback to an earlier moment in the film where Henry's trying to cheer up his brother by making it look like he's climbing a mountain on the side, and he's got a fan that's blowing this like white snow. Yeah. It's a nice callback. Except those were the only two people in the room when it happened.
We
so
called
therefore,
that out.
an entire audience would never start doing a full applause and cheering and screaming and tearing up and like, oh my god, having that moment, because no one knows what the fuck is going on.
I think they were tearing up and clapping that a corpse didn't pop out of that.
Thank God we don't have to kill zombie Henry.
No, it was dumb, man.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I mean, you guys already touched on the end of the movie being an issue, but a lot of it is like, it seems like they just rushed. They put good ideas in, but then rushed how to make it
connect everything.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Because it switches what kind of movie it is, almost scene by scene. You know.
So
anyway,
to wrap this up,
let's wrap it up.
I want
I want to talk about this all night.
First, let's give our ratings. So we go by the scale of should see again, glad I saw it, should have waited, shouldn't have seen it.
Right.
I will go with shouldn't have seen it.
Okay.
How about you, James?
James is giving this a solid shouldn't have seen it.
Okay, Jenny?
I'm going to say shouldn't have seen it.
And Joe?
I would have should have waited. Is the
okay? That's the next one up.
The next one.
Yeah, that's the.
So like we're pretending like we watched this in the movie theater. So if you
for it to come out.
Like if you paid to see this, your rating would be should have waited to check it out on video. Or something,
I would be
right?
disappointed if I saw it in theater.
Yeah, okay.
That being said, watching it on HBO Go, I'm down. I don't waste my time.
My last question: would you rather watch this again or 50 Shades Darker again?
I would probably say 50 Shades Darker because it was so bad it was funny, and we had a great time watching it and making fun of it. Book of Henry was just confusing, so...
Everything Jenny just said. 50 Shades Darker was wildly entertaining for the reason that the pop culture surrounding it makes it a lot of fun to make fun of. It's a terrible movie, though.
Yeah. And I have to go with you guys, too. More or less for those reasons.
Yeah.
Like, as I was watching it, I was like, I can't believe something is making me want to watch 50 Shades Darker again. But this is doing it for me. I was not a fan, Joe. I'm glad that you got something out of this. I'm glad that you got some enjoyment. But boy, fuck, this was not built for me.
No.
But something that should be built for at least 3 out of the 4 people here. We're going to be talking about Avengers Infinity War.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
That they never could.
Okay, I think Thanos said it all. This brings a smile to my face. So this is a need to see it for me, for sure.
And Joe?
I would agree. I think it's a need to see it for me as well.
To Infinity War and Beyond. This is Avengers Infinity War. This is directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Written by a bunch of people, starring goddamn near every actor on the planet. I'm going to have to dig real deep, but a random shout-out is going to go to Amina Kaplan, who plays Gamora's mother. Hey, Amina! Great job, bud!
Well done.
Yeah,
very good role for you.
Even though you didn't have a big role, you're probably going to be able to live off of the residuals for life. So, this is Avengers Infinity War. We're going to talk real briefly about the trailer to see how it measured up. Having seen the movie, do we feel like it sold the movie well?
Yep. No spoilers, very briefly.
No spoilers,
right?
Very briefly, but we're obviously going to be getting hard and heavy into that. So again, last warning, if you're driving... just swerve into a ditch right now, just so you can skip ahead.
Absolutely.
Whatever. So
I had a blast with the trailer and blast with the movie, and it really got me in the seat, obviously. So I was very interested.
Okay, great. Yeah. How about you, Joe? What do you think about it?
I loved. Yeah.
So clearly, it got you in the seat.
Correct.
Okay. Do you think it sold the movie properly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Great. Any specifics without getting...
No, I'm sorry. No, it should be more specific. It's just like when we talked about it the first time, like, the way it needed to sell the movie was by promising the event, right? Like, so all the movies were leading to this movie, and that's exactly how they sold it. So regardless of what we walked into, unless it was like a silent film, like a black and white silent film, this trailer sold the movie accurately, no matter what it did.
I would agree with you. So yeah, I think it also sold the movie. This specific trailer, I thought, sold the movie perfectly. Kevin, what do you have to say?
I would say the only thing that the trailer didn't sell for me that was present in the movie was the humor. I still thought that Infinity War was pretty funny, and in most cases a lot of fun, even though the subject matter and the tone is substantially heavier than the previous Avengers films.
Yeah, which the other trailers dive into more of the humor.
we've talked, like, a lot of the humor in those trailers
was
fucking
flat.
whiff.
Oh yeah, in my opinion, the humor in the other trailers were flat, which is why this trailer I think is easily my favorite of all of them, is because
it doesn't even bother attempting.
Yeah, it's like Joe said, it's selling you on the spectacle of it, the fireworks show that this is gonna be. You know there will be humor in it, because it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's
so
just expected.
Exactly, it's kind of expected, and so I would agree with you, and. So, like I get your point with the humor, but I think
and it's not a knock on the trailer,
right? Right.
That was a welcome surprise, because when I was walking in, I was
how harrowing is this gonna be? Type of thing.
And more so just like, fuck, I really hope, like, DC has been chasing Marvel for so long.
Yeah.
I really hope this isn't the first instance where Marvel is like, you know what? Maybe our movie should be really dark and brooding, and then completely fuck up their brand.
Sure.
So it was a very welcome surprise, and though it's not present in this trailer, I'm really happy that it's in the movie.
Fantastic. All right, I think that covers it for non-spoiler stuff. How about you guys?
Yeah.
Anyone have anything else to say about that?
Nope.
No.
Good.
All right, we're getting
Let's
into the movie.
Talk about the movie.
So first, major spoilers right off the gate. Like 90% of the people die,
or 50% of the people die. Kevin.
We're talking
Perfect
people with speak.
balance.
We're talking about people with speaking parts. But anyway, you guys are like my Marvel heads.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you vault. What's going on in this movie? What do we have?
Well, sorry. Yeah, Jenny, go for it. Dive in.
I was just gonna say. So we open right away with Thanos having the Power Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we open with not knowing how he got it. So we open with that, and he just totally fucks Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like kills him
not
right
literally.
away.
He
Yes,
he
sorry.
he fucks him up, I think is what
Yeah,
you're going for.
This isn't the Book of Henry.
Right.
Sorry.
It's not Sarah Silverman.
Sarah Silverman has a weird cameo. She like kisses like Tom Holland on the lips.
Yeah.
So yes, he fucks up Loki and kills him completely, just like destroys him, which just sucks because Tom Hiddleston is a babe, and it sucked to see him go. So
he wasn't the first one to die.
Journalistic integrity is what we pride ourselves here on Trailer Hitch.
He wasn't the first one to die. That was Idris Elba's character, Heimdall, right?
True.
Yeah.
First one to die. First one to go.
Very true. Not as good looking.
Well, I would very much disagree with you.
I feel the same way.
Idris Elba is much better looking.
All three straight dudes went, excuse me.
I take issue. Joe, how about you? I mean, this is the episode that you like really wanted to be a part of.
Sure.
Your basic instincts from the movie, your first impressions from the movie.
I loved it.
Okay.
It's early yet to say this, but I think it's my favorite superhero movie of all time. I think the balance of humor. You know what? I know it too. I've seen it twice.
Okay.
The balance of humor and drama. I think it's the first true movie to say where the Empire Strikes Back of sequels and actually be the Empire Strikes Back of sequels. You have the same feeling leaving the theater that I imagine you'd probably have leaving the theater back then.
With
not just the uncertainty
Absolutely.
and the loss, the fact that like your heroes can win but also lose at the same time, like that you can survive but not be winning the war.
Yeah.
So no, I freaking loved this movie. The first time going through, it was such a ride, and then the second time I saw it, there's parts that are slow, which I think hurt it a little bit. But man, it's just so good. And honestly, the big reason why I wanted to be here is because I'm good friends with everybody here, but because of this podcast, a lot of times we can't talk about the movie after we see it until it's podcast time. So in this particular circumstance, I really need to know how everyone felt about it.
Oh, great! Well, I'm glad you're so excited.
Yeah.
I loved it. I'm on board with the loving it.
Would it be your favorite superhero movie of all time?
I think I could give it a top 5. I don't know if I could give it my all-time favorite, but I could definitely give it a top 5 after seeing it twice myself. But I would have to actually sit down and figure it out. Like which one would be like.
What's the first one that comes to mind?
First superhero movie that comes to your mind?
Yeah.
Honestly, I loved the first Thor. It was so great, and I really liked
Risky
it.
pick.
Okay, go ahead.
That first one that came to mind.
Sure, that's
I'm
fine.
not
I would say
saying
favorite of all time. Though we're talking about like Batman and like everything.
or not
not
just
just
your
not
favorite
not just
superhero
Marvel
movie.
movies. Joe is saying of all time, every
DC
superhero
and
movie.
Marvel?
Of anything.
Oh, gosh.
Could be
I don't
the
know.
Rocketeer.
I don't
No,
know.
it can't.
The superhero?
It's no one's favorite. Anyway,
I have no idea. I mean, I'm gonna do a safe bet and say The Dark Knight.
That's fine.
But I can't 100% say that right now. So.
Sure. I absolutely loved it as well. Far from my favorite superhero film. I agree with all the reasons that you said it is your favorite, and those are all the reasons I do love it.
Sure.
But it just, and maybe this is just partially nostalgia for me, but the first Avenger movie was like really up there for me, and that was primarily because of just the energy surrounding it, and the build up for that one was really awesome.
Sure.
The first Spider-Man movie will always have a place in my heart because I lost my mind after watching that movie. And as Jenny said, The Dark Knight is also really incredible too. And just the Dark Knight, saga with Batman Begins, what have you. But I loved it. I did love the movie, and I did have gripes with it, and we'll get into them.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's why you're here. And Kevin, how do you feel about the movie in general?
I thought it was fine.
Great.
Kevin,
Cool.
you're
Sorry.
not big into superhero movies. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to come right out and say that I definitely have far more superhero fatigue than everyone else here. I did see and really enjoy Black Panther recently. James and I did a podcast. I really enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming.
It was excellent.
So I know that I still have it in me. Like there's still, I can still be wowed by a
and not that this is a newer one, but Captain America Winter Soldier was one of your favorites too.
Yeah.
And that was the same directors as this.
Sure. I was not talking for the past few minutes because I was like, fuck, what is my favorite superhero movie of all time? And I'm honestly kind of leaning toward Logan. That should probably give you more.
Logan is good, yep.
That would give you kind of more of my taste for what...
It definitely gives me a read on you, Kevin.
Yeah.
You have a type. We'll put it that way.
Bear in mind, I don't co-sign with Logan saying the word fuck 40 times within the first 20 minutes.
Sure.
But I do really like that movie. And I thought the emotional journey that movie took me on was really great. And
sure, great.
Now, I'm not going to put Avengers in my top 5 of superhero movies. That said, I would be more apt to rewatch and enjoy the first Avengers movie over Infinity War. That said, because I see the look on Joe's face. Joe looks like I just I don't know, threw something on a grandparent's grave. I'm not trying to disparage. I will say with full confidence that Infinity War is infinitely better than Age of Ultron. It's not a contest.
A lot of people say that.
So, that should give you sort of a read.
Sure.
Where, if I want to watch a Marvel movie or an Avengers movie again, that first one I think is probably the most pure example I can get of what I look for and expect with those movies. Infinity War, I'm a bit more mixed on, and obviously you had issues with it, James.
I did.
You'll get into your issues.
I will.
I'll get into mine issues, and it sounds like Joe and Jenny are just going to yell at us. So
I like it.
I
like this dynamic that we have going on. So who should start?
Joe.
Well, I mean, he wants to
I
respond.
But I want you to say, because obviously saying it's your favorite superhero movie of all time is a pretty big statement.
Yes.
So what made you love this movie?
Okay, so I think James, everybody's mentioned it, but with the first Avengers, there were a lot of goosebump moments, seeing all your favorite heroes together for the first time, a lot of sweeping shots and stuff like that. This is the first movie in a long time to give me that same goosebumps feels. A lot of the reveals of the actual characters when they finally come. And mind you, remember, there's 42 technically main and supporting heroes in this movie.
When I said everyone is in this movie, I mean, guys, everyone.
I mean, not everyone. Hawkeye's not in it. Ant-Man's not in it.
That's fair.
That's correct. But what I was going to say was there were a lot of earned moments when characters appear. You get excited. And I'm not a big fan of people clapping in theaters ever. I know it's a fun experience. I hate it.
No
geez,
shit,
old man
right?
Chitel over here.
I want to see a movie with people who actually are super into it.
Maybe my second screening, sure. I want to be uninterrupted screening. I'll be like, if I could sit in a theater by myself and watch it.
Anyway, it didn't bother you this time, is what you're saying, right?
No, yeah, because I too had that like feeling of like I was like, yeah, I want to clap, but I'm not going to because it's wrong.
Okay, well,
it's not.
It's
if
not
you
wrong.
listen to this and clap at
don't feel bad, people.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, great. Well, I mean, should we start talking about our problems with it?
I want Jenny to get in. I want all of us to get into what we liked.
Well, you know what? Honestly, my biggest gripe with it, and it's
Shit. All
right,
yeah.
Not even what she likes.
Oh, sorry. Should we talk about what I liked? I liked a lot of it. Like, I thought the acting was really well done. I don't know. I mean, it's easier for me to talk about what I didn't like because I liked a lot of it.
Sure.
So, what I didn't like mostly, and this is super technical and minor, but I don't remember the character's name, but it was one of Thanos' villain warriors. It was the woman who went up against Wanda and Black Widow toward the end. She had like a stripe in her face or something.
She had horns.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Remember the black border?
Yeah, clearly she is a a human being in a costume, not like not like the squid guy who's like clearly a different species. Why did she have to be all CG? Like, I didn't get that. I did not like it. It took me out of anything. Anything with her took me out of it. Like, I just didn't understand that.
Yeah, no, dude, I totally see where you're coming from. And James and I have talked about this on the podcast quite a bit with superhero movies. There is an over-reliance on CG with them, and though James and I both really liked Black Panther, like, that was one that definitely fell victim to the entire final fight is all CG.
Yeah. They're just
really apparent.
CGI rubber band men.
Yeah.
Like, just bending all over the place.
Yeah, and that's fair.
If it's a battle scene, that doesn't bother me as much. Like, I get that. But, like, this was clearly a person. Like, why couldn't it have just been a person, like an actor in a costume? Why did the person have to be CG? Anyway, that was, like, my biggest, like, grime, which is super minor, because she's only in it, like, 5 scenes of the whole movie.
She ain't going to be in any of the other ones. So.
Yeah, because she died.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was basically my biggest grime. And then I had an issue, which after watching it a second time, I understood. But there was a scene where Doctor Strange was like, there's only one way we can win against Thanos. And then about 45 minutes later, he gives up the time stone to Thanos. Well, in the very beginning of the movie, he said, if it comes down to your lives and the time stone, I will pick the time stone.
Right.
And he never went through an arc of coming to terms with, like, Tony Stark and everyone and being friends with them. So he just gave up this time stone to Thanos. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why did he give up the time stone? This isn't in his character. He already said blah, blah, blah. But after watching it a second time, it must be the one way.
Joe, do you want to answer this one?
There's only one way that they can win.
After seeing it, it makes sense. But it was like 45 minutes in between. Like, how does someone expect the audience?
Well,
to,
he doesn't do his weird flash forward thing until that's 15 minutes before then, isn't it?
No.
I mean, it's not 45 minutes, but it's a few scenes, and I think they want you to sort of forget about that scene.
No, and it makes sense, but I just that was my biggest gripe after.
I mean, everything has to unfold that way for it to work.
Right. Yeah.
Right. No, I mean it's again super minor, but I loved it. I thought it was great, and I didn't have too many gripes. So if someone else wants to,
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Captain America wasn't in it enough. Boom. Boom, roasted. Should have been in it more. Should have had more lines. Should have had more. He should have got his shield back. He should have killed.
Shouldn't have seen it. End review.
He should have killed all the bad guys with his shield and with his charm and his bravery and his
new beard.
Yeah.
We'll note for the audio only medium that he is wearing a Captain America T-shirt as we speak.
Oh, look at that! I am. No, that was planned. Come on, guys. I'm excited. No, I'm trying to think of something that actually bothered me. Do you remember anything that I said off? I'm struggling remembering.
You had a weird issue with the Power Stone not being.
Yes. Okay.
But that's not an Infinity War
Jenny.
issue.
No, Jenny mentioned this.
There was a line of dialogue that explained that he got it. He destroyed the planet
Xandar.
Right. Like a week before
the
movie actually starts.
You don't get that line of dialogue until way later when Thor explains it to Peter Quill, the Guardians. That's when you finally get that exposition. And Joe, it might not have bothered you, and you were just fine with it. You were just like, okay, Thanos has the Power Stone.
Yeah.
I thought that was a big deal. This is the first Infinity Stone that he gets. How did he get it? Without any Infinity Stones helping him, how did he get it?
Squidward.
All I want to do is ask, so here's the thing. So here's the double side of this. Because the issue is, had that been in the movie, had they actually had that moment in the film... Because we have to backtrack. We can't say how we solved this.
Right.
Had they actually had that movie in the film, people would complain that Infinity War is too long because they spent so much time getting the Infinity Stones. We wasted way too much... It's like exposition setting up the gauntlet. People just want to get to the actual war.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I'm happy that we didn't have to fart around with Thanos for 30 minutes being like, all right, found the fucking Firestone.
It's way more interesting letting him build character than going after the specific stones. And the advantage that they use is they use the stones that build his character to do it.
Agreed. 100%.
Yes.
So
we'd be wasting time to go after the Power
in
Stone.
this movie. Now, my fix for this, and it's because they build up this. This is a big deal.
Sure.
All these Infinity Stones are a big deal. And that one, at least in terms of the movies leading you off, that one was the most protected Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Like, an entire planet was guarding it. I just would have liked, a post-credit scene in a different movie, say Thor Ragnarok or something, showing him grabbing the Power Stone with Xandar in flames behind him, just implying that he got there, he destroyed it, and now he's grabbing the Power Stone. I don't want to be wondering for the first 20 minutes of the movie, but how did he get the first one and then get the line of exposition? I was honestly wondering that, and it was kind of distracting me from other scenes that were happening. I was just like, but how did he get it? I'm curious. How did he get it? That one was pretty well guarded. I just would have instead of the end of Thor Ragnarok being their ship running into Thanos' ship, it should have been this. That's all I'm saying. You don't add on time to this movie with it, and you are letting people know he has one stone going into this movie. It's not a surprise. They don't do it as a surprise.
It's weird to think that he didn't have one stone at all. I'm saying I agree with you, but I'm saying it'd be weird to be he's going to get all of them in this one movie.
Right, right. All I heard was, I agree with you, James. So I'm happy with that.
Well, and who says he didn't have the Power Stone when he ran into Thor at the end of the last movie?
No, he did. I'm saying he did have it at that point, but we still didn't know that at that point.
Well, right. I mean, it didn't bother me.
It didn't bother Joe either, and that's
fine.
That's one of my issues with it. Anyway.
I will jump in about Thanos, and this might be a left turn, but I thoroughly loved his character building throughout the whole movie, especially his scenes with Gamora. I thought those were so well done and so well acted.
Best Marvel villain.
Best moments.
I wouldn't say it's the best Marvel villain, but that's my own personal opinion.
I'd agree with you, James.
But
stop.
Hang on 1 second. Let's talk about Gamora though, real quick, because Jenny brought it up.
Yes.
That's a whole.
To answer your
chapter.
question, Loki.
That's
Go
wrong.
on.
Loki. Look. Also, the Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man movie.
Okay. Well,
I would honestly say the Vulture over Thanos.
Or the Vulture
from
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yep.
I love Spider-Man Homecoming.
We'll get into what I think. Don't you worry.
So anyway, for Gamora,
yes,
that death was the first one that got me. Yes. Heimdall was too quick. Loki was also kind of too quick for me. I didn't get an emotional. It affected me, and I was sad. But I wasn't it wasn't an emotional gut punch for me because it happened so fast. You're just like, shit, this is the first scene of the movie and two main character, two main well-liked characters are dead.
Right. I mean, if it wasn't for the trailer, it's heavily implied that Thor dies in that scene, too.
Yeah.
That it's done, you're like, shit.
Yeah, so it was shocking because it was so quick. So I didn't feel the emotional gut punch for that. So the Gamora death, that one they did a really great job of building to it, and then to really like throw you off right before her death, they introduce the Red Skull, who we have not seen since 2010 or 2000. I can't remember when that was. Captain America: First Avenger. He got teleported by the Tesseract, which was the space stone, to God knows where, and this is the first time we've seen him. And I think that reveal and that interaction distracted you from the writing on the wall, which was Gamora is about to eat it here. And I thought that was really impactful, and I really liked that scene.
Well, and not only was her death impactful, but Thanos, like his struggle. You can just see his inner struggle, because he is her father in a sense. He looks at himself as a dad, not a good one, but he sees her as
better than Naomi Watts.
Yeah, he sees her as his daughter, and he feels something, so it is difficult for him. And just they go to slow motion and build the music as he just throws her off the edge, and then he gets the Soul Stone, and you just see you can almost see it in his face, this isn't worth it. But then he quickly snaps out of it, and he's like, gotta move on.
Because the mission is bigger than him. Thanos is the best villain. What's wrong with you guys?
And Josh Brolin as Thanos.
It's a non-debate.
Look, I'm going to say that in terms of
there is a debate.
In terms of character motivation and everything, I think you're on point. In terms of performance, it's just kind of bland watching Thanos most of the time. I think the
execution with Thanos is where I had some issues.
I just think he doesn't do many different things. He kind of talks in the same kind of tone of voice.
He talks like what a real leader talks like.
I'm just saying that's not.
I was about to say, if you're talks like what a real god talks like, I'd be like, Joe? Okay, no. So here's my Thanos quibbles. So I do ascribe to the theory that Thanos is the protagonist of this movie. Thanos is the one trying to get the Infinity Stones. Everyone else is trying to stop him, thereby making everyone else the antagonist. And on paper, I'm like, that is perfect. And that was actually something you picked up from this trailer.
Yeah, Joe was here.
You were like,
when we reviewed the trailer,
they were like, Thanos should be the protagonist. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'd really love it if they did that. And they did it, and I had issues with it. So, and
I liked it, though. Okay, what are your issues?
And so, I mean, on paper, I really love that. I see, all the stuff that you are telling me, you get so much out of him. I wanted way more, and I think, overall, it's because they have 42 different characters in this movie. Everyone has stuff, and I would genuinely love to hear what the arc Doctor Strange goes through to give up that time stone, because I did not see it.
No.
He did.
Her point is...
Oh, that was where that point ended.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry, the point was that he didn't have an arc, which didn't warrant it.
I'm really, for the most part, most of them don't. It's they start the fight, and then they lose the fight. And with Thanos specifically, I think there could have been more done to flesh him out. And, I'm particularly thinking of the scene where Gamora dies. And I know that's semi-controversial, because that's the one that everyone was pointing at as this is my favorite, this was such a good scene. For me specifically, I really wish it had picked one or the other. Because Thanos, I really love my kid, and this is just what has to happen, and then he just whoops her off of a fucking cliff.
Yeah.
And he's sad for a little bit, and then he just goes back to collecting these Infinity Stones.
I feel like he's sad for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's the thing that breaks him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's broken after that, forever. He'll never go back.
But see, I don't know, man.
You just didn't get that? Or you didn't get that in his performance?
I didn't feel like I got that in his performance. I didn't really feel like I got that through the rest of the movie, because the movie moves because there are so many characters, it moves too fast to really register those character changes. And it is so spectacle-driven that I think, for me, some of those character nuances that maybe you guys caught totally got lost for me.
I think they're there for Thanos. I think they could have been better, though, is why he's not the best Marvel villain, in my opinion. But I still saw them.
Do you guys
so
think...
that's, I guess, the slight difference.
I don't know, because like he was like trying to kill half the world before that happened, and he was still trying to kill the world after.
Oh, he's still a crazy person.
And that was actually something else too. I know someone else like made it a point to push in their glasses and be like, "Oh, Kevin," but the whole there's only so many resources within the universe, and Thanos is doing this effectively to try, in his mind, to help the world. Like,
correct.
His planet went through this thing, so many people died, I have to do this so that way we can preserve balance within the universe. And I really wish that had been dramatized a little bit more, not necessarily just his planet, but you can obviously make the case that Earth is going through those sort of issues right now.
Make that a theme with Earth.
Yeah,
okay.
And like other planets could be going through that too. And I think seeing that and dramatizing it a little bit more, we would still all reasonably be like, killing half of the universe with the snap of your fingers is fucked, but you would at least be able, as a protagonist, to understand his drive as a character. And without that, I'm like, he gets a little bit more than just, I'd like to kill shit for the sake of it. People who read the comics love to point out, in the comics, he is driven just because he loves death.
Right. We don't have to get into it.
And we don't have to get into that, and I'm sorry to all the people who read the comics, but as an outsider, I think that's stupid. And I think that what they did for him in the movie is far better, and like makes far more sense in the context of the movie. That said, like, I just think that it could have been gone into a little bit more.
Sure.
And specifically for me, the missed opportunity I find with Gamora is I'll admit, I totally didn't catch those character nuances you caught. And maybe, because we're starting to run a little long, maybe after the episode we can talk about what those nuances are. Or my other way is either getting more of that, or have him go the opposite direction. He makes this relationship with Gamora because he knows he's eventually going to have to sacrifice something to get all the Infinity Stones. And he's been calling this relationship purely with a malicious intent, which thereby makes him so fucking evil.
I don't think he knew. He didn't know he had to kill Gamora to get this.
I'm saying go one or the other with it. Like,
they went. What I guess. Sorry.
And I know your argument is they went the first way with it, which is like, he is genuinely not a bad dude who is just going through, like, he's making terrible choices. But I didn't really stand that. And again, it is a spectacle-driven flick, and that might have been lost to me in the first watch. And a lot of the people I know who've seen it and love it have seen it multiple times. But honestly, from this first watch, there isn't really enough here for me to go back and see it again.
Okay.
At least in theaters,
sure.
You know?
Yeah. Joe, what do you have to say about that?
I don't have anything. I guess I just respectfully, I respect your opinion. I disagree with it just because I think that there was enough there. Even after the first time, I felt like Thanos had enough developed that I totally bought the Gamora stuff. And more importantly, and why he's my favorite villain, is I 100% understand, this is the wrong word, and sympathize with his mission.
It's empathize.
Empathize. You
Thank
empathize with it.
I agree with Joe.
He is the true hero of the universe.
Yeah, don't
He's
have
the
to tiptoe around it.
Because the challenge is, the challenge is you're saying genocide is right.
Right.
And it's not.
Which is wrong.
Because that's something a crazy person
But it's wrong to be right. But it's right to be wrong sometimes when it's wrong.
And that's kind of that's what this movie comes down to, is like, Thanos is right in terms of the universe. And I don't think it needed to be specified specifically with Earth and everywhere else around it. It's just commonplace. Like, overpopulation is an issue everywhere.
And
the
that's
universe,
why it had to be dramatized.
It already is. In one scene, you have enough.
In what? Nah. In order to justify killing half of the universe, I think you need more than, like, throwaway scene of, like, look, this is how I got Gamora. Like, you need more than that.
Well, no,
I don't think so either. It's a waste of time.
You're just repeating scenes of what you already know.
No, I think that could have been a theme established throughout the movie.
You had his home planet Titan. When he did the reality, he showed exactly what happened. So there's one. You had the Gamoras and how he got Gamora. There's two. Like, how much more outside of that do you need?
It's explained that it happened on Drax's planet.
It's
explained that, like, it's built the whole way through.
Yes.
No, it's explained that he killed half the people on those planets. They weren't specifically dramatizing that the resources were depleted.
But that's the common theme of why he was doing this throughout all the planets.
Right, but how do we know as an audience that those planets are specifically...
Need to, though, is my question. Like, why do
in order to buy his motivations as a character.
Why would he go to a planet and kill a bunch of people if the resources weren't... because that was his main...
Because he's fucking crazy. He's killing half the universe.
Yes, but his main mission is the fact that the resources are depleted. It happened on his home planet. He suggested it. Everyone was like, you're crazy. So he took it upon himself to carry out this mission that he made very clear. So he did it on Titan. On his home planet. He did it with Drax.
Titan gets destroyed first, and that's his justification.
Okay. So
it falls to itself.
It falls to itself, so that's his justification. He does it with Gamora's planet, which I don't remember the name of, and then Drax's planet through exposition. It is explained that he killed Drax's family.
Correct.
So I think there's enough there. I think there is.
Kevin, to answer your question, I think if you don't think there was enough there, perhaps it's because the creators and the writers don't want you to empathize with him that much. So they want you to empathize with him with the amount they gave you. Anything more, bless you. Maybe they're worried that you're empathizing with him too much. You still need to know he's the bad guy. I'm just saying maybe that was in their mind. I'm not saying you would have, Kevin. I'm just saying maybe that was in their minds. I think it was an event movie that was clearly, you can't go into this not having seen all the other movies. You go into it with that knowledge. You have to know all these other characters and movies, and you're just watching it for the ride. And the nuances along the way are bonuses. And that's kind of my own way I watch superhero movies all the time. That's why I was able to pull some enjoyment out of Justice League and Suicide Squad. We don't have to get into that, or Batman v Superman.
I'm really surprised you didn't list either of those as your favorite superhero.
Right, I know, it's shocking. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate, I guess. And
bear in mind, I'm playing devil's advocate for 90% of the conversation.
Sure.
Because I'm like, I kind of have to.
Yeah.
Like, makes for good podcast.
Anyway, I just do want to talk about the ending of the movie, though. So let's move on from Thanos' thing real quick. He succeeds.
Yeah.
He is the victor of this movie, and the Avengers fail.
Yeah.
As far as we know, in terms of Doctor Strange's predictions or whatever.
Sure.
But how do we feel the movie handled all the deaths? And I want to start with Joe on this one. So after the finger snap, how do you feel about the movie?
I loved it, right? So it happens, and you immediately know what's going to happen. You don't visually know how.
I actually didn't immediately know.
I was like,
which I loved that I didn't immediately get.
I like that it kind of pulled that breath moment from you because you were immediately. Well, okay, so it's so interesting that you didn't feel that.
Yeah.
It's pulled from you immediately, and you're like, that was it. That was the event. And so as it slowly starts to happen, it's like the world ending in front of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool in that sense. It was a great idea to start with Bucky. Because that's such motivation for everything that Cap stood for before that.
Yeah.
And he has to watch that. And then as it continues to go through everything, my only issue is that, and I don't know if they weren't expecting Black Panther to be as big of a hit as it was, but the choice to do Black Panther and Tom Holland's Spider-Man immediately means, and right away in the audience, you're like, well, all these guys are safe. I mean, just the fact that the time zone exists and they just used it immediately beforehand
to save Vision.
To save Vision.
Vision died and then didn't die.
Although great emotional moment.
Absolutely.
As you like watch, there's a human sacrifice happens. And then he's just like, "Fuck it!"
Yeah.
And he literally reverses
you
it
don't
in front
get
of her.
it. You don't get a human sacrifice.
No, he reverses it in
I
front
get
of
to
her.
win.
Yeah. Oh man.
It
Anyway,
was great. Yeah.
Yes. So because that exists, you automatically know. Going back to the Empire thing, why I like this movie, like the Empire feel, is that you get that pain in your stomach, like that loss of breath in your chest kind of moment.
Yeah.
But you still know that these heroes are okay and that there's going to be more to this story. So that's the toss-up of it. I loved how it ended. Yeah. But right away you know that obviously most of these people are coming back.
Yeah. I think, and I talked with you guys after, Kevin and Jenny after it too, it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. Yeah. You can't not kill off people because people are going to be like, well, these people are just always safe. And then they went like on the other side of the spectrum and killed off a whole bunch of them, just a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of like, well, they kind of feel safe here too, because you wouldn't have killed off all of this intellectual property, or not intellectual property, but you know what I mean? Money makers.
Yeah, specifically Black Panther already has a second movie.
Black Panther, Spider-Man, like 75% of the Guardians gone. Like Rocket's the only one. Rocket's the only one. Yeah. The rest of them are gone. And that's what you were talking about. We know there's a Spider-Man sequel happening. Yeah. We know there's going to be, there's going to be a Black Panther sequel, which it hasn't been announced yet. Sure. There is going to be a Guardians 3 movie. Yeah. So it's like, it just didn't feel properly emotional. It did in the moment, but it's like the second the movie ended, though, you're just kind of like, they're all fine, though.
I'd rather them not, beat... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'm jumping in.
And I'm trying to avoid getting into that because, that's ultimately bringing in stuff from outside of the movie.
But it's hard not to.
It's super hard not to because it's so embedded within pop culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me personally, I was annoyed Black Panther died. I was like, I finally got one that I liked. And
you like Spider-Man?
I like Spider-Man.
And he died too,
and then he also died.
Which is death, man.
He died well.
Yeah,
that was the best.
Well.
It was Steve. It was Bucky and Groot and Peter were the best dissolving deaths in the movie. I thought that was. That's my opinion. Peter's being the best.
Peter's excellent because he doesn't. He
doesn't
it's
get
so
it.
good. Yeah,
he's a kid. He's just
yeah. All of them. I think I said it to you. All of them signed up for the possibility of dying.
Yeah,
right? They're all adults, so they all know what's in front of them. Except for Peter, who literally thinks he's playing a game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when he's faced with that reality, he doesn't know what to do with it, and Tony doesn't know how to tell him.
Yeah.
And you have that awkward moment, a true tragic moment.
Yeah.
As he's holding him, because it's like Tony can't tell him that he's done. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then him panicking to say, "I don't want to go. I don't want to go."
Yeah, it was sad.
Oh man. It's such a good movie.
It's good.
I do agree that some of the people coming back for sequels, their deaths weren't warranted or they're more meaningless because it's like, okay, they're coming back. But I don't think everybody's coming back. I think this is Marvel's way of being like, let's who are we bringing back and who are we not going to bring back? I don't think Nick Fury's coming back. I don't think the agent lady, I forget her name, How I Met Your Mother lady. Yeah, something. I don't think she's coming back. There's some other people I can't even remember. But obviously Guardians will come back. Maybe Groot won't come back. Maybe Peter Quill will. So it's like, I think this is going to be Marvel's way of fishing out contracts and taking some people out, bringing some people back, and seeing where they go moving forward.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I think it's I think they're flexible.
Yes.
Yeah. This gives them an opportunity to be like, we can bring back anyone or everyone or no one or just a small amount of people. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they'll bring back Spider-Man. They'll bring back Black Panther. I think they'll bring back Peter Quill. But yeah, everyone else is kind of a big question mark, really. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't bring them all back.
No, I don't think they will. I think it's the nice thing about it, and what I was getting initially is I like that they didn't BS us with the ending. The way they ended it isn't like who's going to come back kind of thing. It's like, someone's going to come back. They now have the advantage of what you guys just said, Like, if you want the big plot twist or whatever, they can do whatever they want to with the story. And the second, what it goes back to is if the time stone gets destroyed, it's over. They can't bring anybody back convincingly. You can't just pull somebody from a different dimension without that. So if the time stone goes, that's it. Like, those people are gone.
Yeah. I mean, you might be able to pull them from a different dimension, but it would be a different version of that person. It wouldn't be the person.
I guess, but we don't even know how they would get to a different dimension.
The question is after Thanos snapped his finger, and he, at the very end, he's on his overlooking the sun, finally relaxing. He does not have the gauntlet, nor does he have the stone. So the question is where did they go?
I think he just took them off for that moment. Yeah, he
still has them?
Yeah, he definitely still has them.
I think he disappeared.
You think he disappeared?
You think he
Thanos
disintegrated?
Is in wherever everyone else is.
Oh, I like that.
That's interesting.
I like that.
I haven't thought of that.
Because it works both ways. He could easily.
I think he's in control though.
I think so.
He just made the event happen. I don't know.
I think
we don't know
explanation.
We don't know how it works, but I think he could. The point of the Infinity Gauntlet and all the Infinity Stones is you are all powerful.
Correct.
And if you want to randomly select 50% of the population to be destroyed, you could probably be like, except me, make sure I'm on the right side.
I think...
Unless he felt so guilty that he just
was like... It goes back to his moral thing.
Yeah.
Thanos doesn't think he's the bad guy.
All right.
So that he would never think if he doesn't want to be supreme ruler. He wants to do this one thing and he did it.
Done.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he doesn't want to be... Oh, good. That's a good point.
No intention of ruling. He literally goes to these planets, wipes people out, and leaves. He has no intention of ruling the universe.
Yeah.
I like this movie better with that ending, Joe.
Yeah, I think that's a really strong idea.
That's also really makes you think that Thanos is the protagonist. But anyway, I think we're gonna end it on this.
Yeah, we'll have to end it on this. Yes. I think we've talked long and hard enough. Joe, just because this is the movie that you were pretty excited about.
I loved it.
Last words. You loved it.
It was really great. I
Jenny?
hope other people enjoyed
it. I really loved it, and I would see it again.
Great. Kevin loved it. Absolutely. His favorite. 100%. Yeah. And as did I. So, sorry, Kevin. Do you want to do your rating first?
Super high. Should have waited.
It's a should have. You weren't even happy you saw it? Wow. Jesus. All right. I
said super high.
Should see it again. Like that's the highest tippy top of the top for me. That's what this one is. I did see it again. I saw it twice. So
yep, should see it again. Want to see it again.
Should see it again.
Should see it again. And happy I saw it. Yeah. And I did both times.
And Joe is probably somewhere in the middle. Oh, okay. Same as us. That's not. It's sort of anticlimactic. We should have ended with you, Kevin. They would have never known what your rating would have been.
Anyway.
All right, we should probably wrap this up. We've been talking for a really long time, and it's late.
Yeah.
And we made Joe watch Book of Henry last night really late, didn't we?
That's my biggest regret.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys very much. Be sure to hit us up on Facebook. Be sure to hit us up on Twitter at TrailerHitchPod. Email us at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com. I'm sure I made people mad. Feel free to write in.
Thank you to the people that we like that helped us out. Our art first of all.
Yeah, that's Rachel at Mighty Creations on Instagram. Also, be sure to follow Trailer Hitch Podcast on Instagram.
Oh, we're on Instagram. That's right, everyone.
We got a new Instagram account. Hit us up on WordPress. Hit us up on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, you should check out Lost in a Name. Danny Schmitz from that band did our bitchin' intro song. Casey Clowers did our awesome outro, which you are going to hear momentarily. Thank you guys so much.
And Joe, do you want to take us out?
You can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch.